Welcome back to UFC Ninja. Here's a peek at last week's betting results to get you ready for the Ninja's breakdown on the next card.
Yeah, guys, it's the Ninja. So I don't even remember what we had for bets last time, but my producer will throw them up for us, and I remember calling some dude by decision and asking my producer if he bet that, and he's like, yes, I did bet that, so fucking tits, I hit my favorite dude, and I thought he was going to win by decision, so throw that shit up there, and let's get into this week here, huh? Alright, we got Jai, the Black Country Banger, Herbert, versus Ľudovít, Mr. Highlight, Klein. Yeah, this one, Herbert's at plus 135 underdog, and Klein is at a minus 165 favorite. Thinking those odds are kind of pretty good for Klein. I guess he should only be like a minus 100. Maybe those are shit. But I think in this one we're going to get a stand-up matchup mostly. And I think that Klein's got really good defense. Herbert's got okay defense if he's staying back and not fighting, like his last fight kind of against Kyle. He managed to get Kyle down, like Kyle's cardio was worse than his somehow, but I mean, there's no way Jai, in my opinion, is going to be on top of Klein here, and unless he catches Klein with a shot. I think Klein will recover, though, from one of them and come back in this fight and still win it. So I think Klein is going to put the pressure on him a little bit. He pressures more. Jai lets himself be pressured, and he might be able to get away from Klein and pick and poke around for like a round. But I think Klein's going to be able to get him against the fence eventually and either work some of that cage work, like to a takedown, or cage control, or work some knees to the body. You know, or maybe Klein's going to catch him with a punch just by his pressure and getting him tired. I think that Klein has an interesting way of striking. Like, his strikes are powerful, but he seems to change them up depending on who he's fighting. Like, when he fought Devontae Smith, who has a 76-inch reach, and Herbert's got a 77 here, he kind of used straighter punches to get Devontae Smith. Klein was making him quick and more straight. And then when he fought Mason Jones, Mason kind of stays in the pocket and swings back, doesn't really escape out like Jai Herbert's going to be doing. But Mason just kind of puts up a loose guard, tries to block and stay in there to get his own shots. And Klein landed on Mason hard, we seen, and knocked him down. It's because of the way he was throwing them punches like a rubber band gun, but they were like big hooks, and he was kind of whipping them in there, getting lots of power, but those are only on the inside. And then, Herbert's not going to necessarily be there. He kind of was against Topuria, but Topuria like steps into his punches a little bit. He does like at least a step or a half a step into his punches. And we see Klein throw those big hooks. His feet are planted, so he's not moving forward into it, which is going to make it hard for him to catch Herbert with one of them, in my opinion, unless he's trapped against the cage. But Herbert does have some head movement for them too. But Klein's going to have to throw those a little bit straighter ones, but those straight ones are still powerful. And he did catch Devontae Smith with like two of them, one in the first round, or 1-2, that kind of hurt Devontae Smith pretty bad against the fence. And then again, in the third round, he hurt him pretty good, and Devontae was backing up, trying to recover. So those are actually pretty powerful, and that could hurt Herbert pretty easily. Herbert's hittable and hurtable. And Klein wants to fight, so he's going to have the more pressure, and Herbert's still a little bit on skid street from when he got his face skidded on the mat against Topuria. And Klein's good too in like the clinch and the wrestling. He wouldn't let Mason Jones throw him. Mason tried to throw him over his shoulder with a nice judo trip, and it just didn't happen. Klein slipped out the back and got his own takedown on him. That's pretty good cardio shown from Klein. It's kind of cool to see that against Mason too, who in the second round or between rounds against Mason Jones, I think it was Mason Jones's corner against Klein. Maybe it was after the first round. They told him, yeah, we're just going to grind this guy out. And he couldn't grind out Klein. It was more like Klein grinded out Mason Jones there, and that was pretty impressive because I was fairly impressed with Mason Jones's cardio, obviously. So I think with Klein here, what else do I got on him? He blocked a lot of high kicks from Devontae Smith. We know Herbert's got some kicks. And Klein also took like a nice body kick from Smith, and then Smith like faked another body kick, but Klein didn't bite on it. Even faked a body kick of his own, and then Klein went and landed 2 punches on him and didn't let Devontae Smith get any control over the fight there. That's some pretty fucking beast confidence from Klein, so I like to see that. He didn't flinch at all for that body shot, even though the first one kind of hurt him and he tried to get out of the way of it. He didn't flinch for the next one, decided to fake his own and then throw some punches and clip Devontae Smith hard. So I like that. That shows that he's definitely been seasoned, got a lot of experience, and Klein is also a fighter, and he's aggressive. So I think with all that in mind, and the excellent takedown defense of Klein, if Herbert's trying to get anything on him, and Klein avoided all of Mason's sub attempts when Mason Jones tried to sub him out there. He tried to do a jump triangle and fall to his back. I think Klein's kind of on a little streak here, a little momentum, and I liked one of his coaches too in the corner. Made a lot of eye contact with Klein and his other coach, and to me that means more than another coach just kind of telling him what he thinks. They got a good relationship, so I'm gonna go with Klein here fairly confidently in this one, boys. Good luck to you. Any other thoughts or bets on this one, boys? All right, guys, just taking a break here, but watching my dog look out the window. She's been sitting at the window for like 10 minutes, just staring out at nothing. It's like 7:30 in the morning. It's just fucking can't take this minus 12 Fahrenheit. Couple feet of snow out there now. She's pissed, and if she could only enjoy UFC as much as us, her life wouldn't suck so much. But getting into this next fight, we got Jake White Kong Hadley versus Malcolm X Gordon. Gordon's a underdog at plus 250, and White Kong is at a minus 335. Kind of a big favorite here, but it's a tough one to decide. I think after watching some tape, thinking about what the hell's going on here, obviously it's going to be a bit of a grappling match, but for the stand-up, I think it's going to be kind of even. Gordon's got okay little strikes, but Hadley's got good defense. Gordon's got a couple kicks, but I think Hadley's going to avoid all that with his high guard and his little, blocks that he does with his forearms, which is pretty cool. It's actually one of our stances in the Bujinkan that we have. I took a picture. My producer put it up for you, but it's a pretty cool stance that we use. It's similar to what he has. I feel like he's developed that from just being a grappler and had to compete with these strikers, so he's developed a way to he knows he's not going to be able to be as good of a striker as them with all his grappling experience and time he has in the grappling. I feel like he's developed that little push-off his forearm like that just to mitigate the striking of other people so that they have run into something that they haven't seen before, and he uses it nicely where it just kind of backs them up, gets them out of all their real actual power, and it makes it eliminate the striking gap that he has to deal with because his striking is limited with how much he's done with the grappling. So I do feel like, little Malcolm X, the spider thing here, he could be on Hadley in the first round. I think Hadley manages energy better, though. He overall is just kind of consistently constant using his energy and pressure, lands with decent power. And he's going to, I think, eventually overwhelm Malcolm. Malcolm's can run his cardio, but then he runs out at times, and I feel like he ran out against, in his last fight against Mokaev, got armbarred. He used some of his energy there to keep the back, and it just didn't manage it well. And Hadley could get him in this. Hadley's a pretty strong dude, too, all the time. And against Nascimento, it was like a grappling match. We've seen Nascimento win round 1, and I guess he won the fight technically, apparently, but Hadley did good in that after round 1, and I think Nascimento's a good grappler. He's been training with Charles all the time, and he's got an 18-6 record. Nascimento. So Malcolm X has got 14-6, so 20 fights, but Hadley's only got 10 fights on his record. But he has fought Nascimento, who had 20 some fights there. So, and I don't think the experience of Malcolm X is going to come into play here. I think Hadley's got enough experience of his own to compete there. Obviously, with the Nascimento fight, he kind of proved to me that, in my opinion. So I'm seeing like Hadley, he's got good ground and pound and goes for the subs a lot. So he's going to try to put it on Malcolm. That could tire Malcolm out more too. Hadley gets right on it with the ground and pound and going for subs. It's pretty tits how he does that. He doesn't dick around. So I feel like with all that in mind, see if I got anything else on him. I feel like it's going to be Hadley by either like a submission or decision. It could come down to a decision for this one, but Malcolm X has been subbed in the past, so could see it come to a submission too. So I'm going to go Hadley here by sub or decision, boys. All right, guys, next up we got Christian Leroy, the Englishman, Duncan versus Duško Thunder Todorović. The new guy, Duncan, coming in at a minus 210 favorite. Thunder is a plus 170. Looking at this fight, man, I've never really been super impressed with Duško, however you say his name. Not really been super impressed with him. I feel like he's kind of sloppy in there. He's got like equally good ground and stand-up just because of how sloppy he is. He just fought Jordan Wright, and that first round didn't go good for him, man. He freaking went for a takedown against Jordan right away and ended up on his back against Jordan Wright. And that was a pretty critical moment for me. And then, as Jordan Wright was trying to take him down, he couldn't get a guillotine. He couldn't get a submission off his back there. He almost had Jordan Wright in something, but Jordan was able to get out of it. That's not saying too much about his jiu-jitsu there. So against, this newer guy, Christian Leroy, here coming from Cage Warriors, he's got some experience, seen him on his back a little bit and whatnot. I don't know if Todorović is going to be able to sub him. And, that second round against Jordan Wright, Mr. Thunder came out just going after Jordan Wright. I think his coach told him, look, man, if you ever do something like that again in this fight, I will take you back to the gym and, you're going to leave worse than this fight you would ever leave hurt from this fight. So I feel like after that, they started round 2, and literally Duško, he just went completely rampage mode. He was on a rampage. Thunder was rumbling, man. He went fucking hard as hell until Jordan Wright literally quit, and Jordan Wright was like putting up a fight, and it was a sloppy match. Even Duško almost got clipped hard enough to get put down, but he didn't go down. Ended up finishing Jordan Wright with like ground and pound, man. He was just on a rampage. But I swear it was like his coach told him, I can't even believe what you're doing out there. I'm gonna hurt you really bad if you don't win this fight. And there's a little clip. I'll have my producer put it in there, but you can see the coach's face like when he wins the fight. Duško's freaking winning, ground and pound him at the end. You can see his coach yelling, from the cage side, he's yelling, finish him, finish him, finish him, just a killer. So makes Duško go out there and finish him, and then he's like doesn't even celebrate when he's done. He just turned like he knew it was either going to happen, like that was either going to happen, or Duško was going to go out fucking black cold and like not remember what his coach even told him after the first round. So that's what he decided to do, go rampage mode, and like his coach was expecting it and expecting that to happen. It was pretty fucked up, pretty funny looking. And and then Duško like does a bow afterwards, and basically apologizes for the beatdown that he had to put on him. But I think in this one, this new guy, Leroy Duncan, I watched a little bit of his footage and I wasn't really sure what to think, but he's good early, and Duško's not that good early. Duško lost to Puma and Chidi early, and in fact, they lost to Puna, who's not super technical. I mean, this Christian Leroy Duncan looks more technical than Puna Heli, and he's good too, powerful. So, and he's got some better kicks than Puna and stuff. So I think he does like the pressure too. But I think this Christian Leroy is going to clip Duško in the first round. Unless he spends it on his back, maybe he'll clip Duško in the second round just because he manages his cardio better. This Leroy Duncan guy, he's smart. I did watch like an interview with him to see what was up, and he's like soft-spoken, happy about his chance in the UFC here. He said he's ready for it. He was going to fight a different guy for the title that he holds over in Cage Warriors, but he got the call for the UFC here, and he's like happy. He says he's ready for it. He's on like the right wavelength. He's fucking pretty decently smart. I liked his IQ there. So he doesn't drink. He's got like plenty of cage time too. He's got a lot of experience in the cage, which is what I think he needs against Duško to beat him because of how sloppy he is. I think that this Duncan guy is going to be able to clip him and get the TKO finish. So that's my thoughts on this one, boys. Good luck to you on your other thoughts or predictions here. All right, next up we got Lerone, the Miracle, Murphy, versus Gabriel, the Mosquito, Santos. Santos is 10-0. Lerone, the Miracle, is 11-0. And this is an interesting fight. I feel like, Mosquito's coming in here to the UFC. I feel like he's pretty good with the Muay Thai. He's pretty quick. He's got a nice low calf kick. That thing, could be pretty nasty against Murphy here. He's got that wide stance that Murphy uses, and, if Mosquito chose to use that, he could, I think, do work on Murphy in the first round and really get something going. But Santos has bad fight IQ, in my opinion, and he's doesn't make the best choices, has good cardio, but I think Murphy might be faster than him and have the more powerful striking standing up and be able to clip him, even though Santos does have good power, it looks like to me, up top and with his kicks, but I feel like Murphy is going to be quicker and more responsive fight reactions, and I feel like that's going to be enough for Murphy to get it done here. And with Murphy's experience and all his training, he hasn't fought now in a while. I forget when that last fight was, but it was 1 year, 4 months ago. But he dealt with Amirkhani, was on his back for the first round, stayed cool, kept his cardio up where he could come out in the first round or the second round and try to put Amirkhani out, and he did. But just showed he managed his energy pretty good, and that he was able to do that. He's quick, and I feel like that could be enough to get it done here against Santos. Even if it goes to the ground, I think Murphy's like pretty good on the ground actually. Like he's strong and halfway technical. Like Amirkhani couldn't get nothing really going there. Not even Amirkhani gets people out of there in the first round. So I'm gonna go with Lerone Murphy here, the Miracle. Not super confident, but I feel like he could maybe get a TKO win here. All right, this next one we got Muhammad, the Punisher, Mokaev, versus Jafel, the Pasture, Filho. I don't know how the fuck you say his last name, but I'm gonna go with that. Dude's a plus 550, the Pasture. The Punisher is a minus 800. This one, just looking at Jafel a little bit there. In his Contender Series fight, he got reversed and whatnot. Wasn't great either on his feet or on the ground, in my opinion. I think Mokaev is going to have him in a submission in this one and make him tap. I feel like once Mokaev and him clinch up, it's going to be all the Punisher in this one. I think he's going to probably get a submission at some point, but he's going to totally put this guy away, and this is an easy fight for him, in my opinion. It's just another stepping stone for Muhammad here. He's been from Russia to the UK now, and this Jafel from Brazil, he doesn't have the same experience or coaching or training that or competition that Muhammad has had. So I think this is really going to be a pretty easy fight for Mokaev. I mean, this Jafel dude is not nearly as spidery as Malcolm X, so I think Muhammad's going to be able to put this guy away. He kind of looks like the spider, like Malcolm X, but he's not quite as spider monkey-ish, so it's going to be an easier fight for Mokaev here, I think, and I'm going to go with him by submission. All right, next up we got Sam the Future Patterson versus Yanal Red Fox Ashmoz. Not really sure what to think about this fight. I mean, really watched a little bit of tape on each one fight, and both kind of all over. A little bit sloppy. Still have a lot to learn probably yet, but I don't see, anything really definitive just from a little bit that I watched. But I'm just going to stay away from this fight completely. And if anything, I'd take the Red Fox as an underdog in some sort of a long shot parlay, or if you're on DraftKings lineups and you're trying to fill a spot at the end. I don't know, looks like he had some reverses and stuff in one fight I did watch on him, but otherwise I'm staying away from this one, so good luck to you guys if you are betting on this fight. But I don't got to read on it, so I'm going to stay away from it. Alright guys, we got Chris, the Problem, Duncan, versus Omar, the Venezuelan fighter, Morales. Omar, he is 37 years old here. Duncan's 29, right in his prime. Duncan is a minus 105. Omar is a minus 115 right now, almost even. Yeah, so I don't know, interesting fight. The way I got this one broke down is, with Omar being older, he's a pretty technical kickboxer, really good in the first round, really technical and kind of back and forth in the first round. He did get KO'd in his last fight there in the second round. And he's a little bit of pressure in first round, but he mainly gets pressured. And, Duncan, he's the kind of guy to pressure somebody. And Omar doesn't get super elusive when he gets on the fence. He kind of will be in the first round. He might not let himself get trapped on the fence because he'll have the energy and the movement and the knowledge to do so, but then he might not have the energy to be doing all that in the second. So Duncan could get him in the second, in my opinion. But Omar is pretty good. He might clip Duncan in the first. He's got a couple of good shots, and he did get kind of aggressive, right at the end of the first round in one fight there. And he's got some aggression, but I just don't think he's going to have enough to put away Duncan. Duncan's hard to put away, and his shots he's kind of a slower. He moves a little bit slower, but it's going to be good for him here against Omar. I think Omar is going to be quicker in the first round, but then not as fast in the second, and going to get himself clipped, and Duncan will pressure him up against the fence or pressure him back and be able to clip him and get Omar out of there, in my opinion. Duncan's got some spin kicks of his own and stuff, so that could kind of wear out Omar more in the first round too, with just wearing down his cardio, having to move around and take a couple of them, at 50% or whatever. So I think, even though Duncan's a little bit hittable and slower, he's gonna win this, I think, and he's also gonna have the ability to take down Omar and keep him down, or beat him up a little bit. He did that to Borshev, and Duncan did good with that. Even let him up the first time, just decided to throw some punches and get some damage in while he had to let Borshev up. So he could have kept him down potentially and worked more of a jiu-jitsu way there and just been less exciting, I guess. But it might have been okay for the rest of that first round to wear him out, and then maybe Duncan could come out harder in the second there and get some more going. But I feel like Duncan is going to win this. And even though he might get dropped in the first, I just don't think Morales is got enough combos in him to completely eliminate Duncan from the planet and consciousness permanently. So Duncan will fight back, and their speeds will be matched in the second, and then Duncan will have more volume and more aggression and pressure, and he'll get Omar out of there with his youth as well. So I'm going to go with Duncan on this one, guys, by TKO second round, if I really think I know what I'm talking about. So good luck to you on your thoughts or bets on this one. I'm going to go with Duncan. Next up, we got Jack Tank Shore versus Makwan, Mr. Finland, Amirkhani. It says Tapology's down for maintenance momentarily, apparently. Was just using it, but, looking at their Jack Shore's takedown defense, it's 80%, and Makwan's takedown accuracy is 43%. I think right there might explain the whole fight. We got Amirkhani could get a sub in the first round, or, Jack Shore could win this one by decision, or eventually maybe even tire out Makwan and get a sub of his own. We seen Jack get clipped by Ricky Simone in his last fight and then get choked. So Ricky's a beast. Hits like a truck. So Jack's chin broke there, but I think in this one we're going to see Jack come out on top. That's really all I got on this one, guys. Good luck with your other thoughts or predictions on this one. Alright, guys. Well, if you made it this far, you are a competent individual, and you have earned the right to hear the mixed martial arts story of the week. I seen my producer always saves it in the computer as, what does he call it? No, or under the description, he always calls it Storytime in the dojo. So that's fucking tits. I just noticed that like last week or something. So, maybe that's what we should call it. I don't know, but I like it. So getting into this next one, man, this one takes place at a college, and actually takes place at a parking lot at this college. So me and my buddy you guys might know him from other stories on here, known as Warhorse. So we'll keep him as his nickname. But me and Warhorse, he's like my best friend, and we're sitting in the college parking lot. It was like earlier in the morning or whatever time it was. We were smoking some grass. We were out there smoking some grass, and we'd both go back in for another class or something else for the afternoon. But he's packing up a bowl, and I'm fucking looking behind me, and there's like two people in a car behind us, like back a row or two or something, and eyeballing the shit out of me. I'm like, what the fuck are these people looking at? And I'm like, oh shit, like kind of turn back around. I'm like, wow, I fucking told maybe we shouldn't smoke. It's fucking people are eyeballing me, eyeballing us. Maybe we shouldn't smoke right now. Like they had some sort of, I think they had some sort of parking lot security. They must have had a parking lot security that drove around. Not that we were really looking for them or anything, but and then my buddy Warhorse, he just keeps packing the bowl and saying nothing and waiting. And I've known Warhorse for a long time, and he gets done packing it, and he says, "What are they gonna do? Beat us up?" And I'm like, stopped and thought about it, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, yeah, what the heck? What are they gonna do? Like, what are those two people gonna do? We're here smoking grass. Like, what the fuck are they gonna do about it? Like, they're gonna eyeball us. Okay, what are they gonna do? They're gonna come over here and like take my weed, stomp it down, and like beat us up. And my buddy knew that was the right thing to say to me, especially because I don't, I believe in certain things really strongly, and that's the bottom line with me. I won't waver from my morals. And when he said that to me, it's like, yeah, dude, fuck those people. Like, what? They're definitely not going to beat me up. I was thinking, that for sure is not going to happen. They're going to come over here and beat me up over smoking weed. I'm like, fuck that. Like, there's no way. Like, I will fight to the death against some motherfuckers, And that's what I'm thinking inside my head, And my buddy Warhorse knew it. He knows I, believe in things really strongly, and he knows, like, I won't let things happen in the world without me, like, intervening, even if it happens to be physically. So, you know, and that statement there came pretty strong, and then I could connect that to anything in life, any statement that anybody can make about something, you know, whether, you know, THC is illegal and fucking shit's now it's legal in the state of Minnesota where this happened. So, you know, it's a completely different thing now, and them fuckers are ready to, what were they going to do, you know, like, give us a ticket, lock us up, beat us up for this shit that now 5 years later, 10 years later is legal all of a sudden. So, you know, it's like, don't let laws tell you what's right or wrong. You know, that's fucking bullshit. You know, you got your own moral compass, and you decide what's right and wrong and what's good and bad. You know, what they think is legal, like alcohol and other shit that you can go drive your car to consume and then leave with your fucking keys. I mean, these cocksuckers know exactly what's going on. So, you know, don't believe in what somebody else tells you, even if it's your government. You know, believe in what you think, and then believe in what you think to being to the point where you're willing to fight for it, you know, and not be afraid of anybody else willing to stop you. You know, that's some bullshit. So, you know, it's kind of like an overall threat you just kind of feel initially, you know, and you got to break that shell in life and get rid of that shell. And they keep trying to shell you up, you know, and you got to peel it back every day. You got to peel it back. You got to work hard. You got to push strength. You got to be vocal, whatever it is when somebody's doing something, you know, because that's some bullshit. You know, don't be letting that shit happen, and otherwise you got nothing to live for. You know, you end up like stuck in a Chinese tower. So yeah, so we ended up smoking that whole bowl, blew our smoke out them fucking windows hard, and you know, we went back into class after that. But then people didn't say shit. Nothing happened to us that day or any day in the future in that parking lot or anywhere else for that matter. So that's a story of the week, guys. Believe in what you believe in and be willing to fight for it, because otherwise that shit will diminish and never be back again. Alright, next up we got Marvin, the Italian Dream Vettori, versus Roman, the Caucasian Dolidze. So I went back and watched both these guys fought the Joker. And, you know, after looking at that, it was like Hermansson's pretty much just a grappler, so he was actually landing some strikes on Marvin, and he wasn't getting much off on Roman, which is weird. I thought I was going to for sure favor Vettori here before looking up at this fight, but after looking it up, I don't really favor either guy, you know. I feel like, you know, Roman's definitely probably got the grappling and submission advantage, and he's flexible on the ground, he's active on the ground. He's just not very aggressive with the striking, and he's not very playful with the striking. He doesn't have any games or anything that he tries to do in particular. He's just got the 1-2 and whatnot. And then, you know, for Marvin, his striking isn't all that complex either, and his overall game isn't that complex overall, in my opinion. So he just kind of pressures hard, and I think he's just going to look to win first 2 rounds. The third round, to me, is going to be like a slot fest. I feel like it's just going to go to a decision. Otherwise, maybe we'll see Marvin win by like ground and pound or TKO if he catches Roman. He did catch, you know, Jack in I think it was the first round. Almost put away Hermansson. Otherwise, you know, we'll see Roman maybe win by a submission if he can get Vettori tangled up somehow and catch him with a sub. Otherwise, I see Vettori getting out of all that and kind of winning most of the cardio battle and most of the ground and pound, and some of the striking. So I guess I'm going to go with, well, Vettori by TKO decision, or take Roman by sub. I got no bets or comments on this fight, guys. So good luck to you if you got any other feelings and bets on this one. Next up, we got Gunny Nelson versus Bryan Bam Bam Barberina. This one, Bryan's a plus 280, Nelson's a minus 375. Those odds are pretty fucking far off, if you ask me, or at least pretty far apart. I mean, maybe they're proper, but these guys are both like, 33, 34, and kind of wins and losses recently. It's tough to say. We know Nelson's the sub guy and Bryan's a stand-up guy, so I feel like there might be only value I can see on betting-wise here is like maybe a bet by Bryan by TKO. There's got to be maybe some good plus money on that. And otherwise, I think maybe Gunnar's either going to win by sub or Bryan will win by TKO or decision, or Gunnar will win by sub or decision. So that's all I got on this one, guys. I didn't really watch any tape. I've seen both these guys fight, in the past, probably their last 5 fights each, but there's just no sense in trying to pick up sticks on this one because there's nothing too indifferent for me that you're going to find from what we've seen in the past. So good luck to you on your bets or thoughts on this one. Alright, guys, co-main we got Justin, the highlight, Gaethje versus Rafael Ataman Fiziev. This one, man, I think it's going to be a stand-up battle. Gaethje doesn't show much of his wrestling. And when it comes to a stand-up battle in this one, Fiziev's a lot more technical, especially in the first round when they both got high energy and they're fresh, crisp. Gaethje's going to be slower and, bringing his punches from downtown. Fiziev's going to be quick and solid with his strikes. And I think he's going to also avoid the front low kick of Gaethje that he likes to use. And Fiziev could land his own even. He's pretty good at popping that. He's quick. And Fiziev's striking, IQ is really good. He's even been a coach, I'm pretty sure, at Tiger Muay Thai in the past. If he isn't now, trains there now. But he's good. He looks for stuff in the striking. He figures out how his opponent's striking. What they're doing, what their early tells are for their strike that's coming, and he figures out how to respond and put them away. And he's also very good just on his own too with his own aggression. But Gaethje could basically close his eyes every other punch and just he's looking for the chin and throwing it from downtown. So if Fiziev doesn't get his kicks caught and Gaethje takes him down, trips him and stuff like that, I think that's maybe a possibility here that could happen. But otherwise, Gaethje's going to be striking and maybe leaving his body open and stuff, and Fiziev's going to pick him apart, put him up against the fence. And as long as Gaethje doesn't land some, from downtown as he's getting beat up by Fiziev, I think Fiziev could get the TKO win here. But you can't count Gaethje out for getting a TKO or, beating down Fiziev or choking him out quick. So that's kind of what I got to break down this fight. I see Fiziev avoiding 99% of Gaethje's punches, though, standing up. Until he gets tired, like second round, I think third round could be a different story. Fiziev's not as likely to get out of the way of Gaethje's punches from downtown. He's kind of more likely going to try to block him with a high guard or get lazy and be offensive, thinking he's winning. And Gaethje will be that one guy that responds with 110% power. And Fiziev, being too lackadaisical, could get dropped. So that's kind of what I got to break this one down, guys. I don't got any bets or predictions on it or serious thoughts on it. So good luck to you on your bets, though. All right, guys, main event of the evening. We got Leon Rocky Edwards versus Kamaru. I can't even say it. I hate this fucking guy so much.
But it's funny to me. It was funny.
It made you laugh.
Yeah, it made me laugh. And
Did you see the photo of me interviewing you in the middle of the head kick?
I almost posted that yesterday.
Let's call him Kamaru Usman.
What do you call him? What does he call him? Farty or Marty fake newsman? Farty fake newsman? No, Marty fake newsman.
He has done pretty good in the past. Give him that, but I don't know. I feel like him dressing up like the leprechaun and all this other shit, like he's somebody else. I fucking don't like Usman after that. He started sounding like a preacher of MMA. It's just when my right hand lands, it's people go to sleep. talking slow like he's from a different planet. So fuck that guy. And I hope Rocky knocks him out again, honestly. I hope he knocks him out earlier so it doesn't look like such a fluke. It looks like Usman can't keep his guard up and block this high kick. So I hope that's what happens in this one. We're all about to find out, hopefully. But yeah, guys, that's what I got for this main event. I got no other bets or thoughts I'm going to place on this one. And I don't even think I'm going to have either of these guys in any DraftKings lineups. But good luck to you on your bets on this one. All right, you guys know what time it is. You can break down the kicks, you can break down the punches, you can break down the stats, but at the end of the day, you got to break down the bets. Yeah, all right, so I got it narrowed down to like a 3-man parlay here to start. We got Ľudovít Klein, he's a minus 200. We got Jake Hadley, he's a minus 400. And then we'll put in Lerone Murphy, he's a minus 175 right now. And then my favorite of the week is Mokaev. He's minus 850, so might as well keep him out of the parlay. We could put him in there too. That might actually benefit the parlay. I think we will. And then, my second favorite this week is going to be Klein. So maybe we'll put a little bet on Klein there, a single for him to win. And, other than that, I'm not super confident in anybody, so I'm not going to go to the casino personally and make any huge bets. And Muhammad's just minus 850 is too much for me to gamble. So we'll do some DraftKings this week personally. May or may not make a show, but good luck to you guys on your bets. Let's make some money. All right, till next week, guys. Life before death. Strength before weakness. Journey before destination. Keep it real.